Hey everyone! So we decided to make this step-by-step video to make it easier for you to apply for our opportunities abroad. Now, as you can see, this is our AIESEC and AIESEC University page. So if you scroll down, you will find that in almost every post we will be placing the link for our opportunities website. Now, of course, you could click on it and apply, or you could go to the top of the page, click on the sign up button. Now, as you can see, it's loading. Now, of course, if you don't have an account, which is probable, you will press the login/sign up button to sign up. Now, of course, this is of course you want to select a new user. Now let's start. So for example, here you write your email address. So you will write your email, and then you will move on to your first name. So in this case, we call ourselves AIESEC. For the sake of this video, ASU, short for AIESEC University. Now the password, type any password you want. Choose a country. Now, of course, since we are in Egypt, we'll choose Egypt. Now, this is very important. It's very important for you guys to select the AIESEC University as your local committee. This is where you located. So it's very important for you guys to select AIESEC University. Now you register. Okay. So apparently this is already taken. Okay, so let's say Egypt again. Now this is AIESEC University, and here you go. Now that you're logged in or signed up, you press login again. Now you're logged in. Great. Now you just finished your first step into applying for an opportunity. Now you go to your profile. So there are some criteria you need to meet for your profile to be completed. Now, of course, we fill the middle name for absolutely no reason. Now, here's where you place your background. So first of all, for example, your date of birth. So let's say you were born on the 1st of January 1995. Okay. Or 1901, doesn't make a difference. Now, your nationality is, well, since we're all Egyptians here, or since we're in AIESEC University, we'll probably go with Egyptian. You're male or a female, doesn't really make a difference. Choose your gender. Now your email, as we said, could be AIESEC or whatever your email is. Let's say AIESEC in ASU. Now your phone number 01, and then let's see how many X's. Doesn't really matter. So for example, here you got your Facebook link. So you go to your profile, you select the link, you select the address on top, and then you go to your opportunities website, then you paste it, and voila, you have the link to your profile. Now if you have Twitter or Instagram, that would be great. If you don't, now since AIESEC and AIESEC University has a LinkedIn account, so we're gonna take this address as well, and we're going to add it to our LinkedIn profile. Now an address. So for example, let's say you live at 64, then write ST for the name of the Leadership Street. I don't know, kinda cheeky. Now, for example, you live in a certain city. So, for example, you live in Maadi. It's a place over here in Cairo. So, well, for example, you live in Maadi. Now your postal code, that can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Where do you live? You live in Cairo, most probably. Let's say, for example, the country is Egypt. Now this is where you upload your CV. So you press on it, and it allows you to upload your CV. So just make your CV in a Word format or PDF format or whatever, and then you upload it here so that people can see your resume. Now, skills. So what kind of skills do you have? So for example, you have personal skills and knowledge. You get to choose which level you're at. So between beginner and expert. So for example, I believe that I'm intermediate, so I'll add it as an intermediate level. Now for example, I'm good with, let's say, presentations. So presentation skills. I'm really good at presentations, so I'll make it an expert. Now say, for example, I'm a really good driver. It just so happens I'm a good driver. So here it is. Choose expert. Yep. Now, languages. So, all of us almost speak 2 languages. So, let's say I speak German, okay? But I'm not really that good at German, so I'm a beginner. And I speak English. So, you have choice between beginner, intermediate, advanced, and native. Now, native is really good, but bilingual is when you can speak 2 languages or more than 1 language very fluently, that both of them are almost like your first language. So for example, I'm really good at English, for example. Let's assume I'm very good at English, so I'll say that I'm bilingual. And I'll add Arabic, as I'm an Arab. And say bilingual as well. Now what's my educational or professional background? So for example, I study architecture, for example, so I'll add architecture. Let's say I took a course in accounting, and I worked in accounting, so I worked in architecture and accounting, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it's possible. Now my academic experiences, so for example, currently I study at Ain Shams University. Let's say I studied at Ain Shams University. And what duration? Say I entered in the beginning of January in 2016. Let's say I'm going to end in also the beginning of January, or actually April in 2019. Now description here is what I say. So here you write what you learned during the period you spent in your educational area or background. So for example, let's say I learned, let's generalize and say I learned how to design buildings, which does kind of make sense. Now country, so I'm studying in Egypt since Ain Shams University, so the country is Egypt. Backgrounds, so you could write, for example, design, working, if it's architecture, like for accounting you could say you learned accounting, finance and stuff like that. So this is where you provide the people, you provide your information. So for example, I got a bachelor degree, so I'm done with my bachelor, or I'm still an undergraduate. Let's say I'm still an undergraduate, so I'm still an undergraduate. I did not finish my thesis since I'm going to graduate in 2019, assuming. So since backgrounds are necessary, let's say architecture. Now you should be more thorough. For example, I studied designing, working, so backgrounds, over here you say, for example, architecture, right? Maybe you learned something else, maybe you learned designing, graphics design, maybe it was part of your curriculum. Maybe you took a combined course of economics and management, so you got economics and management, so you can add both. Now you save this experience, and now let's save it. Here it is, and you can edit it. Here it is. It starts with your organization. It's called AIESEC University. You could edit it. Now professional experiences. Now this is where you work for a company. So taking the same example, AIESEC in AIESEC University. But here we're assuming that you're working more professionally. It's not education, it's professional. So it's like working for a company, working for an NGO or any kind of organization. Now the duration is, let's say, from 04 as usual to 30. It could be any date, just fix the dates as you know them. This is just an example. Description, for example, what was your job description? So you were an HR manager in a company, you were an HR member, you were a fundraising member, for example. Like what did you do? So for example, you were a public relations expert. So you did, for example, business development. Now, of course, you could go more into details, like, for example, you could go for public relations and then you could add points for what you did exactly within each of these criteria. So, for example, public relations, I spoke to, or for example, let's say you searched for media partners. For example, for business development, you had visits with corporates. Now, country is, let's say Egypt. We keep assuming Egypt. Now, industries. So, for example, you worked in an accounting firm, or let's say public relations and communications. So this is what you did. For example, business. Skills you developed. So you learned, you got leadership, for example. If this experience made you able to teach people better, so for example, training and facilitation skills, this is something else you gained out of the experience. So what else did you gain out of the experience? Were you able to communicate? So were you able to manage a team? For example, you managed a team, so you were able to manage the project. For example, you managed a team. All of these things you could add. You could add all of these things. Now, the work field, disciplines you were involved with. So, for example, you were working in, of course, public relations. Now, work type, for example, it was an internship, you were volunteering, it was a full-time job, or it's not applicable. So let's go for you volunteered. What was your job title? Let's say you were a public relations manager. Let's save it. Here it is, it's saved. This is done, it's done. So after you're done with all of these things, you move on to the top. Then before you go anywhere, you go to My Preferences. Now you pick the 3 issues you want to work on. So for example, you want to work on leadership, you want to help with climate change, and for example, you want to help with food and nutrition. You want to help people get food and nutrition. So now, what work fields do you want? So for example, you want to work in business development, as you already work, you like it. So you want to work in education and maybe human resources. So now, what's the earliest date you are available? So let's say you're a student, and let's say you want to travel by the end of the term. So you wouldn't be traveling before, let's say, the 20th, or like the 1st of July 2016. Now, when are you available? So you're available till November of 2016. So for example, here you go for November, or for example, available till the end of November in 2016, or the beginning of October in 2016. So what's the shortest duration? How long do you want, what's the minimum number of weeks you want your internship to be? So if the minimum is 6 weeks, so if you want a minimum of 8, you choose 8, and this filters out your projects that you see, it filters out the project that you see later on. So let's say you want 6. Now let's say you want maximum of 8 weeks because it's just a summer internship. So where are the regions you want to go to? So it's sorted out alphabetically with countries, and then later on when you go down, you'll find the continents and areas. So for example, I want to go to Asia Pacific and Latin America. Now, what are the AIESEC programs that I'm interested in? So let's say I want to volunteer abroad, which is from 6 to 8 weeks. So this would be the project I'm interested in. If I'm interested in a longer project, more professional and longer project, some projects in intern abroad are 8 weeks. If I'm interested in a more professional line of internship, I could choose intern abroad. For the sake of this video, we will be choosing both. Now, what's the preferred location? So do you want to in the territory you live in? So for example, if you live in Middle East and North Africa, it will be in Middle East and North Africa. If you want it abroad, so it's very far away, or anywhere in the world, you don't really care, so we'll go with anywhere in the world. So now it's done. Just click on the top left on the AIESEC logo to take it right to the beginning of the site. You will find volunteer abroad or intern abroad. As you can see, volunteer abroad empower you to develop yourself while making a positive impact. These are mostly from the undergraduates and graduates, but it's mostly from 6 to 8 weeks, and they are volunteer internships most of the time. So, as we said, when are you available? So let's say, as we said, I'm available from today. Okay? And where do I want to go? Let's say I want to go to Vietnam. Let's say I want to go to Vietnam. Or let's say I want to go to Asia. So this filters out all the projects into the projects that are within Asia. As you saw before, there were a lot of projects, there are a lot of opportunities. This filters out the opportunities that are in Asia. Now let's say I want a specific country. I want Vietnam. So now I get to choose from the projects in Vietnam. So I'm looking at the projects, and it says over here, it says the duration. of the project, the name of the project over here, and where it's held. So this project, for example, is held in Hanoi, Vietnam. So let's look for another project. Future empowerment, the unlock project. Okay. So for example, sometimes you'll find this, that the LC over there, the local committee over there, has made a booklet for you to provide you with details and to provide you with more information. So you could use it to get more information. Now over here at the left, you'll find that it starts between the 1st of July and of 2016 and ends by 30th of August 2016. Now if this suits you, then that's perfect. So it's for 8 weeks, positions available. There are only 10 positions available, so they have only 10 positions left. Now this is the description for the project. Over here you get the description for the project, everything you need to know. Everything you need to know about the project. Then you find the name of the VP, Vice President of Incoming Global Exchange. So this is the Vice President that's going to receive you. Now, expected work schedule, it tells you the time you need, so from 10 to 15 every day. And on Saturday, since Saturday is the vacation, you will work from 8 to 17. Now the salary is 0, you don't get paid, you're volunteering. You get 3 days off per week. Now over here you'll find the required and preferred. Now 2 stars means it's required, 1 star means it's preferred. You'll find it next to each and every requirement. So for example, they would prefer someone who has a background in education, in English, is a beginner in English, is able to train and facilitate in a beginner level, and he has leadership skills to a beginner level. So now this is the opportunity is with them. Now you can see that now over here you can move down, click here to move between projects. Now for example, you want to see the logistics, so EPs need to book tickets, having a time for arrival. These are all details that you will find that will tell you about the food, the requirement for the food, how much the accommodation costs, how much, whether you have to pay or not, how much transportation costs. In the support you'll get the computer, all the things, all the logistical materials that you will be getting or that you will be required to get. And development will tell you what you should expect to get out of the experience. Of course, to tell you what you're required to have before going to the project itself. Now, if you believe that this is the right project for you, of course, you could apply in more than one project. So if you find a project that you like and you would like to spend your summer or winter or whenever you want to go on a project, then you could press apply now. Click apply now, you have applied. So let's ignore this error. Now after applying, of course you could go to my applications. Here's what you do. You take the LDM survey. For example, let's say that allow me to have an impact on other people's life. Okay, let's say often. I understand that to a certain degree. Okay. So after you're done with the LDM survey, you will get to withdraw. You can either withdraw your application, so if you don't want to go to that project anymore, you could withdraw your application, or you could view your LDM results Now, after you finish your LDM, it becomes pending. This means that it's currently being looked at, so these applications are being processed by AIESEC. Now, once these applications are done, you are contacted on your email by a representative of the project you sent. So if you send for 2 projects, you'll get 2 people contacting you concerning those projects. The project managers from the country over there, they'll send you an email, they'll schedule a Skype interview, and after scheduling the Skype interview, they will inform you whether you're accepted or rejected. And accordingly, you couldn't be accepted in more than 1 project, but later on you need to choose which project you're going to accept overall, and then you do something called signing an acceptance note. You sign the acceptance note. After signing the acceptance note, you are good to go. You can go to the project, no problem. You book your ticket, you pack your bags, and you're on your way to a life-changing experience. It's been a pleasure having you, showing you guys how to apply, and have a nice day.